Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 837 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today by JD Raider, Ben Funky Askren, and our favorite man, I don't even know what I was going to say, but there he is. It's Shane Sparks. Shane derailed me. I was almost made a joke because Shane wants to beat someone up on Twitter. I thought about making a joke, and then I got mixed up, and now we're
here.
We're here. It's time. Exactly. And Shane's out here teasing. He's just tweeting dates like he's Kale Sanderson and Sean Bormet before their Nittany Lion Wrestling Club. But just tweeting dates. But we know what that tweet means. You're not that slick. That's Iowa Penn State, isn't it?
Iowa Penn State, right?
That's Iowa Penn State at Penn State.
Same week.
My only question is it Bryce Jordan or is it Rec Hall? Because that's of note.
Yeah,
well,
man.
You don't know?
You would think Bryce Jordan, but I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they do what, one a year in Bryce Jordan only? That's probably the one.
Yeah. Yep. But they like the confines of Rec Hall for some of their biggest matches, you know. Remember the duel of the century?
Ohio State.
Ohio State. They had that one in Rec Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Greatest team race ever. So yeah, Big Ten's schedule exists. It's not out, I don't think, in any way that we can see, but that'll be it'll be fun to talk about once those are completely public. Of course, Shane has it. Do you have any?
I don't. Yeah, I don't. Because I think last year, that I don't know if it was the TV schedule or the full schedule was released. Somebody said September 14th, but it hasn't been out yet, and it's not out. The TV schedule is not out. I'm hoping next week, but I do not know. Yeah. But I'd like to think 127 will be on TV. That's my guess.
You
think?
Solid guess.
Okay, so it sounds like we pushed the GOAT talk to today, according to the show title, and this is good. and I had a thought kind of before the show. I was like, do we want to do GOAT talk, or should we get in Shane Sparks' real wheelhouse, which is Mount Rushmore's?
No, not Mount Rushmore's.
I don't know.
5 heads.
Shane doesn't know how many heads go on there.
5.
Yes, as we all know, 5 heads on Mount Rushmore.
5 heads.
Guys, the GOAT talk to me is still just Burroughs and John Smith at this point. Now, like I said yesterday, I think there's a lot of people that may be in this discussion.
A lot?
Hell yeah. David Taylor could get in there. Kyle Snyder, Kyle Dake, all these dudes could get in there.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that's a lot, but okay.
Well, it's significantly greager than 2.
And there's
Jaden Cox even. He's got 6 medals already.
And remember, Shane, there's been no discussion about this for 20, almost 30 years. And now we're going to have 4 or 5 people enter the conversation.
Yeah, but I think if you peel the onion back, there's not that. In my opinion, of everybody I've mentioned, and we can get into this, but I don't think there's that many people, and we can go back and forth on it.
Let's eliminate. Let's eliminate.
I want to pat myself on the back here, Mr. Christian Piles.
Okay.
Back when Tommy Rollins,
T-Rowan Funky Show,
talk to us sometime. Back when we did that, I put Kyle Dake in my top 10. We had not made a world team yet. And the comment I made, I said, if there was a 79 kilograms, I don't remember if I said the exact way. I think I said if there's something between 74 and 86, right? If there was something in there, Kyle Dake would have multiple world titles at this time. So I think the thing I'm thinking is like, what year it went in 19 or 18, the middleweight classes?
18 was the first year it existed.
18 was the first year. So if you have that middleweight class for, what they graduated in 13. If you have that middleweight class for those 5 other years, how many more world titles does he have?
At least,
I think he's winning at least 2 of 5, at least.
Yeah.
He's the guy. I mean, he's the guy. It's Dake. I mean, Dake's the guy that's got a chance. Taylor could, but the only reason I'm not throwing Taylor in there, Taylor could. I just, based on listening to some of those interviews, I don't think Taylor, I'd be borderline shocked if Taylor's around after next year. like shocked. It just didn't.
2024.
Do you mean 20?
Yeah, there you go.
2 years.
So, yeah, I mean, I just don't know if he stays around because that wouldn't be good enough, right? I mean, if Taylor wins another, he'd be short. But Taylor could do it. I just don't think he's around that long. I think Dake could be around longer, maybe.
I think feelings change, and you know, with his body, who knows? Maybe something is better, and maybe it's a change of heart, and that's what he wants to do. So I just wouldn't rule it out. Yeah, Dake's the most interesting one, I think, because then if you say, well, if you apply the same logic to Burroughs that you do with Dake, which is there's no 79 kilograms, and if you can't beat Dake, you're out, because that was what happened to Dake for 5 years. In those circumstances, Burroughs doesn't have these last two world titles, and he doesn't pass John Smith, and that's why all the way back in whatever it was 2014 when Tommy and I first did the show about the top 10, it's like 10 weight classes matters. 10 weight classes, and at that point, I believe it was 7, or maybe we were down to 6 already. But it was 7 for a long time. It's so much different. It's so much freaking different having 10 weight classes and 7 weight classes, and that's why it makes it really hard to compare eras.
Definitely so. That's definitely a factor. Part of me doesn't think David will be done in 24. Although if he runs it, I understand the temptation, but man, there's no signs of slowing. I mean, I don't know why Shane is so dismissive of Kyle Snyder and why he couldn't be.
Here's why, and I'm not so dismissive, but if we're really what we're talking about, guys, is the GOAT. We're not talking about second. We're talking about the GOAT. And here's why I think Snyder right now, what's going to keep him. I think and this is where I give it an advantage to Taylor. Taylor is beating one of the all-timers in Yazdani. I mean, he owns that rivalry.
He beat such
I think it's going to be a hard thing to be a GOAT when you are on the wrong end of a rivalry like that. I think it'd be hard to be like, John Smith was the GOAT, but he lost X amount of times to so-and-so.
How many
Snyder's
times?
Fantastic. He's unbelievable. But
how many times did Kyle Dake lose to Jordan Burroughs? How many times did Kyle Dake lose to Jordan Burroughs? A lot of times.
Say that one more time, Christian.
How many times did Kyle Dake lose to Jordan Burroughs?
I think 7, correct?
Yeah.
I think it's like 3 and 7 maybe or something.
I mean, so I don't understand how you and Sadulayev is the literal actual greatest of all time. Very questionable.
It would be like
to ever do the sport. That's very likely.
So you're already giving that to Sadulayev? He doesn't have to win anymore?
No, I'm saying it's a.
How many does he have?
5,
6?
I think he's got
15, 16, 18, 19, 21,
14.
21. He didn't win a 14.
Yes, absolutely.
He has 7.
He won in
14,
Uzbekistan.
15. So he's got 7. Oh, he is close. Yeah. I'm close.
And even David Taylor. I mean, Taylor lost to Burroughs a couple times, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That obviously increases Burroughs' stock also.
Yes, he's got some feathers in his cap. It's tough.
Yeah, he does. Sometimes you forget about just how good. I mean, I love Burroughs, but man, sometimes when you really sit back and think of what he's done, it's incredible. The guys that he's had to beat to make teams.
They all have really interesting resumes with who they've beaten and kept off teams. Dake has. He's beaten Jordan now. He's beaten Jaden Cox. He's beaten David Taylor in matches. And honestly, what Dake is missing, they all have things that are sort of missing a little bit on their resume, but Dake doesn't have like a super elite international win, right? He hasn't beaten like a Sidakov. He hasn't.
Well, that's where
you got to have a gold medal. You got to have an Olympic gold medal to be in the list. Are you serious?
Yeah, probably. But hold on.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about. Can we focus on that point real quick? Burroughs didn't necessarily have a great foil for a long time too, and I talked yesterday about 74 kilograms in Russia has kind of cycled through. He's been that 74 kilograms since he started has been through 3 or 4 Russians now. Mm-hmm. There hasn't been one that's kind of like Sadulayev where he's lasted the test of time. Who would you say? Would you say Godoyev? Who would you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Whatever happened to him? I mean, guys, I hate to bring this up, but I was there and saw it in person. I feel pretty comfortable putting my life on the line that he was doing something he shouldn't have been. I've never seen Jordan. No, Godoyev at the Olympics.
What do you mean? Using steroids is what we're talking about?
Yeah,
Obviously.
Yeah, that's my point. I think Burrow. I think if everything's clean, Burrows wins that one at 16.
Well, Sanchalaya's probably on it too, guys. No one wants to talk about this, guys. Some of my wrestlers bring this up and they're really salty because they love Sanchalaia. I think there's no way. It is state-sponsored doping. They are forced to do it. It was brought up. You can go watch Icarus. This isn't my opinion piece. This Icarus brought it up. I don't recall what the number of tests that the wrestlers failed from Russia, but it's a very, very large amount. And so I think you just safely assume that they were all using all of them.
Yeah,
it was state-sponsored.
No,
I mean, probably still is, but
dude, no one's testing these guys right now. Probably they're probably all getting huge.
For the record, in the USADA era, the only people to test positive still are American.
Yeah.
That's because they didn't test them, Rusak.
Yeah.
You didn't watch Icarus, did you?
That actually takes away the credibility even more.
This is Comrade JD.
Ever tested?
You didn't watch it, Comrade JD.
I'm just
JD,
saying.
are you
JD? He said it is propaganda. That's what he said.
No.
He's propaganda.
JD, do you think do you think that there's
no? Obviously, some Russians are on steroids.
No, it was the McLaren report. Wasn't it the McLaren report that went into this? McLaren. Which one was it? That Icarus essentially spurned.
Well, I'm just saying none of that data is from the past 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they didn't get busted till 2018? Mm-hmm. No, 2016, I guess maybe, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, Bedoyev won. He never came back around again, right? I mean, he wins it in 16 and he won.
That was it.
Was it Sabalov?
He was
silver. 74 after that?
Yeah, then it was Sabalov.
He blew it against Astani.
Yeah, he blew it. He was up and he basically bled out.
I mean, Bedoyev at the Olympics, I've never seen a human being look like that in person in my life. For what it's worth. That guy was
him making weight is a triumph. But talking about the foil for Burrows, Sargush was a 3-time world champion. He was Olympic bronze.
There's also if he wasn't in Jordan Burroughs' weight class, what is he? How many more does he get?
Yes. Yeah, he definitely probably wins the Olympics in 12. Yeah, I think he was better than Goodarzi, who was kind of Burroughs' foil, who got injured and never really saw him again after. I don't think we saw him after 2012.
I found the information. You ready?
He's got the documents.
According to the McLaren report, the disappearing positive methodology operated from at least. So that is where they pulled positive tests, right? They pulled positive tests and they put non-positive ones in there. Operated from at least late 2011 to August 2015, covering the London Olympics, of course. It was used on 643 positive samples, a number that the authors consider only a minimum due to limited access to Russian records. 28 of those, 28 were wrestling.
Oh yeah.
I
mean, there's so much obvious benefit to it too.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, listen, it's a little unfair because there is a possibility that someone like Sadulayev didn't.
So unlikely.
But it has to be. Unlikely. There has to be a question. I mean, he's already. It's proven he cheated on his age. That's like basically documented at this point.
No, you just made that one up.
No, I didn't.
No, that's proven.
That's proven.
You did.
But who
Not
cares?
Proven.
What do you mean?
He was definitely born on the Russian Independence Day.
That's perfect. Anyways, he's actually older than Kyle Snyder, despite what the.
So then Kyle's probably going to outlast him, obviously.
Yeah, I think so. I think. Well, hopefully, I say hopefully, but hopefully Russia's back by the Olympics. You would think he could, if he won that Olympics
and clean, hopefully.
Yeah, and clean. That'll be the big challenge for them. And then you'd think, okay, he could probably sail off.
Because Snyder wants to go a long time. I mean, I haven't talked to him lately, but he told me I think he wanted to be in 5 Olympics or something like that. Once upon a time, he told me that.
He's continuing to say that too. He said
yeah.
Andy did an interview with him, and he wants to wrestle into his 40s. The guy's only 26, so you figure.
Yeah, that's crazy.
28.
What he's done up to 26 is. It's funny. It's laughable. It's funny because it's crazy.
And really, without Sadulayev, his record is nearly immaculate. Not his world and Olympic record is nearly
Yeah.
immaculate, I'd say. He would take losses in the season. Yeah, I think it's going to be a crowded. So for right now, though, because for all we know, but we can only judge based on the careers they've had.
Correct. Jordan or John?
Jordan or John? Shane Sparks.
Man, that's it. I gotta go. I'm going Jordan. I'm going Jordan. And some of that is I full disclosure, I didn't watch John Smith a lot. I know how great he was, but I didn't I was younger. I mean, I've just seen so much more of Jordan.
Wasn't available also.
Yeah, I mean, technology's changed the way this stuff is looked at, but I mean, I know this. If you go with either one of them, nobody's going to call you an idiot if you're on the other side.
I
right?
don't know. You haven't been on social media lately, I don't think.
Man. Yeah,
Jordan Burroughs' career to me is just crazy. I mean, it's to stick around at that weight class for as long as he has. I mean, that is insane. I mean, the wrestling is, and it is what it is. The wrestling is way better now. I mean, everything evolves. Everything's harder to do now. I think. I know it's hard to compare eras, but the level of wrestling now it's better, right? Everything's better now than it was 30 years ago. It's the way it is.
So, and the point I'll bring up, so I think if they were same eras and one did 6 straight and the other one had Jordan's resume, I would pick 6 straight, John Smith.
Sure.
But why I don't, number one, John Smith was only dealing with 1% from the USSR. There was not a whole bunch of countries. I think that makes the bracket less deep, therefore less variability. Number 2, there were 10 weight classes for the entirety of his stretch. He didn't have to deal with 6 or 7, which was the case for a big part of Jordan Burroughs' run. So for that case, I think the era in which Jordan won was more difficult. And yes, he had a few years where he was down, but I'll take Jordan.
Yeah, I think it's Jordan as well. You consider not only the longevity, the number 7, but also domestically what he had to contend with, I think is probably unquestionably more rigorous than what John had to do to make the team. I know there's what was his name? Is it Steve Fisher? Was that the guy's name from Michigan that gave him
Fisher.
John Fisher.
John Fisher beat him.
Was obviously a legend and really tough, but Dake, Taylor, just contending with those guys to make teams, I think is a big feather in his cap. And then I think there's overall impact of like, what did Jordan mean for Team USA, the kind of era he helped usher in?
I think that's got to be
got to be huge
separately. I think it's got to be separate.
Really?
I mean, we're talking GOAT. It's strictly accomplishment, I think. Otherwise, you get feelings and emotions and all that. That shit don't matter. Well, let's just talk about what they did. I mean, we came up with the same answer.
He did do that, though. That is something he did.
I mean, that guy's.
And if he wasn't winning wrestling matches, it doesn't happen. I think impact matters. But I think, listen, John Smith revolutionized multiple wrestling techniques, I feel. And his technical innovations, I think, are still I don't think we've seen an innovation like that from an individual since, have we?
Burroughs double.
But I don't think so. There's nothing new.
Revolution.
I'm just talking about. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
He perfected something, I would say, Jordan, whereas John created something.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't think we've seen something created like that before. Even some of his like crackdown high crotch stuff, I feel like was pretty revolutionary too. Wasn't just the low single. So I that's what makes it tough for me is like, man, you've got someone who literally created.
So I think that, so again, like you said about Jordan, I feel like that's a separate discussion. Like I feel like when we're talking about GOAT, it's like, what did they do? Like how did it actually execute in statistical perspective?
Well, then it's just a math problem. And that's
it would be a math problem, but they're in different eras. So then you have to say why was, that was a big part of my answer is why is Jordan's era tougher than John?
Yeah, I think it probably is. I think, you look at John, John has a Bela Glazov win, which is, as good a win you could probably have in the world.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I do. Jordan is my answer, but man, I think there's some things that John did that Jordan hasn't done, and 6 in a row is insane. I don't think and I think John has even said it'll never happen again because of some of the factors we've been talking about here. But I think longevity should be factored in. And one thing I've never really understood about like the Michael Jordan, the GOAT, and basketball argument is like that he was 6 for 6, but not really. He didn't just play 6 seasons. And so, but I feel like he has this like perfection, whereas like someone that is like consistently like making the finals and making the podium, I think that shouldn't be discounted just because Jordan.
Because LeBron went to what, 9 straight? I think.
I don't want to get into it. This is a wrestling podcast, boys.
Come on.
But when I think about John Smith and Jordan Burroughs, I think about Jordan and LeBron. That's the first comparison I think of because they're very
similar.
Because John perfection 6 for 6.
Yeah, just like Jordan.
GOAT, whereas
guys, I don't want to burst your bubble, but I don't know if you know this. That's a team sport.
Yeah.
It ain't the same.
No, it's not. But there's some similarities when you look at the numbers.
Oh, I don't know. I've never had that thought one time in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah.
Ever. Never.
It doesn't care about non-combat sports.
Not one time in my whole life I thought about Jordan Burroughs and LeBron James. What?
It's because you've only thought about basketball 4 times in your life.
I don't even. Yeah, those two have never crossed paths in my mind anywhere at all, ever.
No kidding. My guess is most wrestling fans, it's just a guess. They think about Burroughs and Smith that they think about Jordan and LeBron. I'm throwing it out.
No.
I'm thinking a lot of people think that. Maybe I'm nuts.
Right. Ben,
Christian, you ever think of that?
Absolutely. Shane's right here.
No.
Ben,
all right.
This is.
I'm pretty sure we had a whole segment.
Uppity
time.
Ben Askren. This is uppity Ben Askren.
Uppity.
It's not uppity.
It's Hodge Ben.
It's non-sports carrying Ben.
Oh yeah. It's wrestling.
What? I just don't give a damn. That's basketball. It's a team sport.
Yeah, he's too good.
They didn't win championships on their own. They had a whole team with them. These dudes are out here on a wrestling mat. We know they're the best because they actually won. Them other dudes, they had like 4 dudes with them.
It's true. It's true. Most sports are team sports. So it is, and you do get the GOAT talk. In those,
it's fun.
Well.
Everyone wants to discuss it. Wrestling, obviously, it's significantly simpler because they actually wrestle one-on-one. And you can see their exact accomplishments.
It is simple in terms if you're comparing 2 wrestlers who are the same weight and wrestling at the same time, but it's less simple when they're 30 years age difference.
It's still not that simple.
And it's still not that simple
if they're the same weight and age.
Oh, well, no, it is because they wrestle each other and whoever wins is better.
Oh, Kyle Dake is more GOAT than Jordan Burroughs?
Potentially, yeah.
Right now.
He has the potential. No, because he won twice.
Honestly, that's a tough one because now if Dake beats him 2 Olympic cycles in a row, it'll essentially be 16, 20, 24. It'll be 2-1 Dake.
Yeah, but he's got to win the gold medal. Dake has got to win an Olympic gold medal to be in the conversation.
But that would be a huge negative for Jordan that he's essentially he would be 1 and 2 against Dake, right? Trying to make the Olympic team. That would be a huge minus for him. And
not really. 2012, Dake was
not
in the
really.
mix.
He was at 86.
No, he wasn't in 2012.
Or 2012, that was his one. And then in 2016, he went up to 86.
Okay, and why?
But 2012, he was still in college. That one doesn't count, guys. Come on. Jordan never wrestled still in college.
He won.
You don't count 2012,
right? I mean, he won months after graduating college, but fine.
And I'm actually counting. I'm actually counting 2016 because that's a Burroughs win for me. That Dake had to go up. He knew he couldn't beat him, so he went up. So that's a Burroughs win.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'll say that the Dake versus Burroughs thing. It's like, okay, for this part of Jordan's era, he was unquestionably better than Kyle Dake, and now we could be entering into an era 2021 and beyond where it's Kyle.
Is there ever a scenario where we think Jordan Burroughs beats Jaden Cox?
I'm in for a while. I'll watch it.
Hey, because Kyle Dake did that.
Yeah, he did.
Hey, Sag Live wants to wrestle Snyder. You guys gonna put that on or what?
I mean, we've seen that quite a few times.
But
Well,
yes.
Oh, you wouldn't watch it again?
Watch it again.
Duh. I would say. Wait, what was the question before that?
Is there ever a scenario in his career where Jordan Burroughs beats Jaden Cox?
Yeah.
Because are you referencing Kyle Dake's win over Jaden Cox?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look at how Jordan, who in 2021, not height of his powers, probably not the best of the best Jordan we've ever seen, went toe to toe with David Taylor, height of his powers. We're talking about 2016 Jaden, not full form Jaden. We're talking about Jordan, who in 2016, outside of the Olympics, was definitely height of his powers. Absolute possibility that he beats Jaden Cox at 86. He dealt with the weight before, no doubt he could. In fact, I would probably predict it.
Predict it? Oh, just stop. I hate it when we do shit like this. Okay. We're predicting 2016. We're predicting 2016 hypothetical matches. We gotta stop.
One of those men medaled at the Olympics that year. One did not.
I'm aware.
I love this hypothetical.
I love it. That was 2016.
We're not even talking about what happened right now. We're talking about 2016 hypothetical matches.
It all adds up. All the pieces matter, to quote Lester Freeman.
But you won't ever know the answer, so it's not a real piece. It's a guess.
Exactly. The whole thing is, we don't know. We don't know if John Smith's better than Jordan Burroughs. The whole thing is,
it's an evaluation. That's a guess. You made a guess. We're making an evaluation.
Oh, okay. Semantic Ben. My gosh. This would fall under the criteria of an evaluation. It is not a guess. This is just uppity Ben. Semantic Ben. Okay. But yeah, I think.
So how are you guys ranking right now? If you had to rank today, your top 4 or 5 right now today, where are you going?
Is 3 still Bruce though?
Some guy, Ben, was furious with you in our email. He literally sent 4 emails. I'm not going to read them all because they were all paragraphs long.
Hold on. Here's the subject. Here we go again. ... All caps. Come on, man! 3 exclamation points.
He's just mad at you. I don't remember exactly what you said, but
what did I do?
To quote Ben Askren on FRL 836, prior to this year, there have only been 2 guys to win 4 world or Olympic titles, and that is incorrect. Bruce won 4 world and Olympic titles.
I knew that,
but that's not what you said.
Prior to this year. Oh, because I guess, all right. Well, sorry. I would have known that. If you asked me how many does Bruce have, I would have said 4.
And it invoked a lot of emails from this man. He was not happy.
Is it Bruce Baumgartner's burner account or what?
The Bruce truthers are out there, and they are maybe the most vehement. And
I've never experienced these people. What do you mean?
They're everywhere. They love Twitter. They're an email.
There've been a couple Bruce mentions in the Facebook chat this morning,
and that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair. Bruce belongs there. He's got the longevity for sure. What was it, 14?
Yeah. I put his credentials in the.
The man won 2 Olympics
just in case.
2 Olympics. I mean, kind of feels like Bruce is.
I think you know what? When I said that, I don't know why, but I think I was including Bruce and John as the 2-4, and then I was saying in this group we already have 3. In this group we have 3 people who've won more than that.
Look at this Wikipedia.
4.
So
I can't see it.
4-time Olympic medalist,
2-time champ,
and then
3-time world champ.
So 5 in all. 5 in all, and umpteen medals. That's a pretty good resume. I don't know.
Pretty good.
So he's probably 3, debatably higher. But then who's the next in the bunch? Is it Dake, Taylor, Kyle, Snyder?
Probably Kyle Snyder.
It's.
But again,
he doesn't have an Olympic gold medal, so he's not you got to have an Olympic gold medal to be in that.
What if
but he kept Jordan Burroughs from winning another gold.
At Worlds? What if Kyle would have had 79 all those years?
He still wouldn't be an Olympic champion.
Okay, but he might have 78 world titles.
Yeah, but if
you got to have an Olympic. I mean, an Olympic gold medal is
that is
something
your
you
criteria.
have to have.
That is not mine. That is not my criteria.
You got to win the Olympics.
For the record, John Smith's era had 10 Olympic weights as well as world weights.
Correct.
So in this hypothetical scenario, is there a 79 Olympic weight?
That's true.
Yes.
Well, I don't know what the old weights were. I'm certain there would have been room for both in 2016. That wouldn't have involved him going up to.
But you know what was really weird about the really old weights? They actually might not have been. I'm trying to remember exactly what they're. But the really weird thing about the old weights, if you go back to like the '84 Olympics, which is right before John Smith's era, they had a 105 and a 114. They went 105,
Correct.
114, 125, 136. Where I don't know how they had a 105. I think about adult males that are 125, and there ain't too many of them. Like,
so it went from 74 to 82.
Data 105 and 96.
That's what's up.
Yeah. I mean, Christian's been on record saying 121 is too small for adult males. They had 105.
That's crazy.
Damn.
It's not good.
It really is crazy. So
I
think it went 20. I think it went 25, 36, 49, 63, 80, 98 heavyweight. And right now, and that's what's weird right now, because right now, so in that era, pretty sure that's how it went. In that era,
I've got them right here if you want them.
Oh, okay, what are they? Go read them.
From 1969 to 1996, 48, 52, 57.
Okay. So that's 105, 114, 125.
62, 68, 74.
Keep going.
82,
So I'm right so far. So it's 105, 14, 25, 36, 49, 64, 163. Then 180 is probably the next one.
180, 198, 220 heavy.
Oh, there was a 220. Oh, I forgot about that. So yeah, Kyle and Jaden would probably still have spots, but then David would be out unless he went down to 180, and then someone. So yeah, all the guys would not be able to make the team that we have on the current team because there would not be enough spots in that era.
Yeah. So 74 would be Dacre Burroughs, 82 would be Dacre Burroughs, 90
or Taylor. Would Taylor go 180 or 198?
I don't know.
82 is 180.
At this point, 82 seems like would be a pretty tough one.
But that's
he probably
86.
would have just kept his body there when he went up from 163.
Yes. Yeah. That'd be reasonable. And then 90 would be Jaden. I don't know. Can Kyle Snyder make 90 kilos?
No.
I don't think so. That's why I think he would be 220.
So he'd be 220. So
yeah,
who's left out there?
Well, so you would have. There's 3 people for 2 spots. So you have one at Jordan or Kyle at 74. Then between 82 and 90, you have the other one, Jaden and David. Those 3.
It
for
seems
2 spots.
Certain that Kyle would be the guy at 100, and that
yes,
Jaden at 90, then David at 82, and then it's
or 90.
Yeah.
And then you have one more spot. So you have 3 people for 2 spots.
Yep. So that'd be tough.
Yeah. Or you'd have Dake and Burroughs continually battling and one of them being off the team.
That's what I think it would be. Ultimately.
You think it would be that?
Yeah, just looking at the weights, I think it'd be those 2 tanks.
But now you're suggesting, right? I mean, you've seen before that Burroughs goes up to 86, so 82 would seem kind of comfortable for him.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe it would at this point.
Yeah, weight classes matter.
Day of. This was day before weigh-in.
Day before 82, he'd be small.
Yeah.
He'd be small.
Okay.
That's another thing we haven't mentioned. Jordan Burroughs did his reign across multiple rules and weigh-in sets.
Yes, exactly.
And weights.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, they kept his weight just for him. But then he moved up because he couldn't beat Dick. Remember? I mean, that's one of the things that annoys me in the freaking weight classes, because it's so preposterous, because it goes 70, 74, 79, 86. And it's like, there's a way better way to balance those things. You go 4 kilograms, 5 kilograms, 7 kilograms. Like, what the heck? Just because they want to keep 74.
Yes. Comments from the chat. What's crazy is from Larry Steele, #1 hater. What's crazy is that arguably the two greatest wrestling talents in our country's history will never be considered as the GOAT. Gable, Stevenson, and Kale. It's kind of true.
Yeah, you got to go do it. I mean, would both those people have the possibility to rack these stats up? Yeah. I mean, Gable still can. Gable can say, hey, I missed a while, I'm coming back and I'm wrestling.
Yeah.
He could go do it. For sure.
Yeah. Kale is a GOAT. He's the greatest folk style wrestler ever.
Collegiate folk style wrestler ever.
Bar none. And that's big because, I mean, that's what every single American wrestler does, folk style, right?
Yes.
And other than like Henry Cejudo, there's no examples of guys that are elite, not making that attempt.
Correct.
So he is a GOAT, and honestly, I think it's a case for Kale on the Mount Rushmore, just because he's the GOAT of the American style of wrestling. But yeah, he short international career. He's definitely a what could have been. Gable still could, and the way heavyweights age, just in MMA and I think wrestling, Gable could do it a long time if he had
Gable could do it a very, very long time.
Yeah.
But you said before weight classes matter.
Absolutely.
And I love Gable Stevenson as much as anybody, but I think he get knocked a little bit for being a heavyweight, right?
Wow.
I mean, it's not. I'm just being honest.
Slander.
It's the bell curve.
He ain't wrong, but I don't think we really can in all sports. We'll say all combat sports. I don't think people actually really think like that. Now, that is probably the truth of the matter, is that it's easier to win there than other places, especially in America, because the biggest guys are likely playing other sports. But when you think about boxers, when you think of the greatest of all time, some heavyweights come up. When you say that phrase, heavyweights come up right away.
Yeah.
You got Bruce Truther still hitting you up after 30 years, so...
We need to make
I don't think people
shirts
really think like
with
that.
just a picture of Bruce's face with the with the mustache. Just say Bruce Truther. we could move some serious merch, Ben. Think about it. Yeah, it is a weird thing. Like the heavyweight boxer, that like they're.
Well, it's because it's different in boxing because heavyweights literally have the knockout power where it's so dangerous. That's why you see like so few long runs in boxing, because literally with heavyweights can knock you out with one punch. It's why you don't see Jose Aldo type runs where they hold down the spot for 8 years. Yeah,
there was that streak in MMA for UFC heavyweights. I don't know that this is in the past. I don't know. I'd have to think about it recently, but there was a streak where I think they hadn't held the title more than 2 fights, like won it and then held it 2 more fights. I don't think that had happened in like 15 years or something crazy like that, because of that variability. And yes, there's way more knockouts at heavyweight than there is any of the lighter weights.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been in a strong heavyweight era with a couple fantastic guys. So I don't know. I don't know if I ding it that much, but anyway.
I mean, not to piss these Bruce Truthers off.
This is not the crowd to go after.
But literally, you can take a step back.
If I get assassinated at the next NTA,
it's gonna be a
Bruce Truther.
There's just gonna be a line that says Bruce sent me.
It is very true though that you can take a step back in athleticism at heavyweight and still be very successful. At 74 kilos, if you take a step back in quickness or athleticism,
I disagree, because Burroughs has still found ways to win for sure.
Yeah, and that's why Jordan Burroughs is an anomaly.
Very much an anomaly. Yep, 100%.
But if you, by and large, if you're just a normal or very good wrestler at a light or middleweight class, and you lose a tad of your quickness, like,
I mean, the lighter you go, the more truth that has, right? There's barely any old, really, really small guys. It's very rare.
Yeah.
One of the other things about Bruce, though, is it's kind of the thing I brought up with John Smith. And I don't know this for a fact with Bruce. So listen, Bruce Truthers, cut me some slack here. But with there being one USSR, those have broken up into, I believe, 14 countries. And a lot of those countries have strong wrestling components and have put out good people. And so if you're only dealing with one good person from the USSR, how many other countries are putting around good heavyweights? Japan isn't, right? I mean, like Japan's never putting out good heavyweights. There's a bunch of countries that don't put out good heavyweights. They're just not big people from those countries. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what do you deal with? USSR, Iran, and maybe like a Turkish guy or something like that. Like the field ain't super deep.
Yeah. No, definitely the fields are different, and there are fewer big people in the world. This is all true.
I mean, I kind of actually, I'm gonna look this up right now. I kind of actually wonder. I mean, part of me wonders like how big were those brackets at the World? Because obviously, if, like I said, there's 14 countries that were comprised of the USSR, and now you have all of them wrestling. Let's see. Okay, well, how many heavyweights were there? There was there we go. There was 21 heavyweights. How many were from former USSR countries? Actually, not 1, 2, 3. Yeah, maybe not that many. 4, 5, only 6. 6 were from there, so 6 out of 22.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, how many medalists actually? Can you believe Mongolia took second? We never talked about that. You were tweeting about that, Christian.
What? What did I tweet about?
Only the Mongolian guy beating Gino.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah,
what was that?
Gino might be.
Is he really that strong? Is he that powerful?
What was that match from Gino?
What was that match? That was bizarre.
That made me just all kinds of inquisitive.
We're
like,
also.
What, you thought he got paid? Mongolians don't usually pay. That's a poor country right there, bro.
I don't know, man. I don't know what happened. All I know is I've watched Gino wrestle probably 50 to 60 matches, and none of them have ever looked like that.
It was pretty bad.
I think he might be starting to be on the downturn of his career.
He's not as old as he looks.
No, he's in his 20s.
Yeah.
Okay. This is probably like a Sadulayev in his 20s.
He's 28. I don't know.
God, it feels like he's
not
been
really
forever.
28. Are you guys kidding me? Come on.
I don't know.
He's been wrestling at the World since 2013. You guys really think he's 28?
I don't think.
Come on.
Man, he did. He was bronze in 2013? Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he ain't 28, bro. He's like 32. He's a Sadulayev type.
Yeah. I don't know if he's ever done any like the age level stuff, though. So what would be the point in...
That's why you lie, and so you can wrestle
with
cadets.
There's no other real reason to do it.
In fact, it would actually work the opposite. You would want to be younger and saying, I'm winning at 18. Look at me.
Well, right. That's
what I'm saying.
That's what he's alleging.
That's what I'm saying.
But he has not done it. I mean, I don't know that he's done any... I'll look at the database here, see if he's done it.
Damn, do you know Gino was kidnapped as a child?
Dang.
I did not know that. We're also
who would kidnap Gino? Like, even as a child, I'm sure he was a monster.
I don't know. I'm trying to find
in the world?
World Championships.
We're also not mentioning how
he did junior. He did junior in 2014. He won.
Yeah, he won.
We're also not mentioning how there are transfers now, which is basically even more.
Yeah. It's a more
Soviets.
It's more. I don't know if pure is the word, but the world
finding the best
world and Olympic champions. There's just more elite wrestlers in those competitions because of the free flowing wrestling transfers that are.
Can you find world's brackets from like 1985? I'm gonna look this up. Jason Bryant, where you at, bro? Tell me if I can find
the Facebook chat.
1985 wrestling world. Let's see if I can find this. Think there's any wrestling's terrible with old stats. It's really annoying.
Genna was in the Best on School Siege. That was in Ossetia.
What? Wow, that's freaking crazy.
I mean, there were other wrestlers that were in that too. Sidakov, I think, was. But I guess that just means when he was a child, he was in Russia.
Dang. Well, that's wild. The more you know. Okay, do you want to...
Listen, I don't know about... I'm looking at the 1985 Worlds, and here's why I'm going to question the difficulty, and all these people are coming at me. 2 dudes from Canada won world medals. That means it sucks.
Man. Fortunately, the Canadian contingent is not nearly as passionate as the Bruce Truthers, so you should be safe here. They'll just
It
be like,
appears
"Oh,
there's either only 20 countries total in both styles or 20 countries that won a medal. It says total 15 entries, but I'm not sure if that means they're
East
not
Germany
including the
putting
ones
in
that didn't
work,
win a medal.
Shout out
What'd
East
you say?
Germany.
East Germany putting in work too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean that did make it easier when we put 2 Germanys into one.
Germany's pretty good.
They're okay.
They're okay.
How many medals do they have this year?
They do their best.
They got
They
Frank.
do the horse. They got horse.
Yeah, Frank.
Stabler.
Good old
Okay.
Frank
Stabler and
They
Stabler.
win a medal. I'm looking for them. Oh, they're terrible, bro. They got 9th place.
Top 10, baby. All right.
Oh my god.
Where do we want to go
That's
next?
it. We settled the GOAT debate. What if?
I don't care. I'm just gonna spend the rest of the show looking at 1986 World Championships.
Ben's just gonna go look back at every world's bracket there ever was.
He's like, who's this guy from Turkmenistan? He stunk.
Now, so
No,
what if?
Turkmenistan wouldn't be a country. That's Soviet Union.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kyle Dake wins next year, then keeps Jordan off the team in 2024, and wins in Paris.
Oh, that's a tough one right
That's
there,
a
bro.
tall task.
It's very like
I don't
thinkable
know.
though.
It is thinkable. I can think it. I can visualize
Okay,
it.
so do you think he wins next year?
Yeah. I mean, well, no.
Probably.
Depends if Russia's back.
Yeah, big Sidikov.
Right now, going into the Olympics, I picked Dake to win it. I thought he was going to win it. After watching Sidikov, I was like, I don't know if he would have beat him. Obviously, he did not.
True.
He didn't get the opportunity. So I'm kind of like, that's probably Sidikov, right? I think it's probably 70-30 Sidikov advantage. If I had to like create the odds for it, which I wouldn't have said that a year ago, but now I think it's probably the case. And look at, I understand he wins close matches, but he's not separating from this field, which is it's unquestionably not the toughest field. Not as tough as it could be.
Just -1.
2. No Sidikov.
Caddy's up at 79
no
now.
Cotty. But he'll be back.
I know, but I'm saying he could have been at 79 this year.
But
He is competing at 79 right now.
yeah, I mean, but where? He's not. It's not his optimum weight. So he'd be down.
What?
He'd be down at 74.
You know they had a shared gold medal in 1986 between
Oh my
Tibor
gosh.
Komarami and Bogdan Daras.
Ben's gonna do the thing where we're
How
doing.
do you share a gold medal?
I don't.
Oh,
freaking
you need to
know
go
where
to
it
a
goes.
jiu-jitsu
I
tournament.
wasn't
bro.
alive in
It's all the
1986.
rage.
All right, I'm
They
getting
double-
into John
is
Smith
double
here. I'm going
forfeit
to tell you about
situation?
John Smith.
JD, you're talking about Dake. The guy to be talking about right now, if you want to talk about somebody threatening Burroughs in any way, it's right now it's Taylor or Snyder, right?
No, because it's the man who could
No,
prevent
it's
him
Dake.
from winning more.
They already have gold medals. Taylor's
No,
got an
it's
Olympic
Dake.
gold medal. Snyder's got an Olympic
You're
gold medal.
You are such a homer with this freaking Olympic gold medal. Get that shit out of here.
Dude, if you don't win the Olympics, you can't be the GOAT.
It's JD scenario. He does win the
Period.
Olympics.
You
JD
can't be
scenario.
the GOAT.
Kyle Dake won the Olympics.
Yeah, but then but then you got to talk about Taylor and Snyder. They can win their second one, so that they're ahead of them right now. They just are. They got right now. Taylor. This is a fact. Taylor
if they
and
both
Snyder have
win-
the
if they
inside
both win-
track on Dake.
If they
Inside
both win
track.
2 more, the next 2, all 3 of those guys win 2 more. Well, I mean, it's the hardest for Kyle because obviously we have this guy Sedulaev that could potentially come back, and he's 1-3 or 1-4 against him at this point. So that'd be the toughest one. But I would definitely go Dake over Taylor. I think if they both win the next 2,
With 2 Olympic golds?
No.
I think I would because he'd have 6 total
I value a
and 2 wins over Jordan. Also, like two straight Olympic trials wins.
if Kyle, I do think you do have to win Olympics, but if Kyle Dake wins Olympics and prevents Jordan from 2 Olympic teams, that is more valuable to me than 2 Olympic golds. if you have an Olympic bronze and Olympic gold, and you kept Jordan off of 2 teams?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got to take him away from GOAT over one crappy match? Like, get out of here.
Well,
it's close.
One bad match. A singular.
Okay, guys.
But it's like, okay, here's your GOAT, and then this guy kept him off of 2 Olympic teams?
Yeah.
Like, who's got the inside track today? And I'll argue, and I didn't get into it, but I'm a guy that'll argue Dake's the greatest college wrestler of all time. But we'll table that.
Now you just out. But now you
shouldn't have thrown it out
yourself,
there.
Shane.
You threw it out
yourself.
And you can't say it.
How can you be that much of a Dake homer?
I'm just telling you how much I love
for
Dake.
that. I hate him here.
You played yourself now.
But as of right now, when you watch the race, as of right now today, Taylor is ahead of Dake. Right now, he's ahead of him.
I don't know.
Come on, right, Ben? I'll give you this.
I mean, so I would have to think about that one, but that also was not the scenario that JD said. The scenario that JD said was they both win the next 2.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is going to have to play itself out to see who they beat and how it all transpires. You can't, I mean,
the other thing is like, we're all prognosticating based on 2024 being the end. And it will be for Jordan. He has said that definitively. But for these other guys,
they could very well go past.
They could go through 2028 easily. Kyle Snyder,
Well, I wouldn't toss out easily. Kyle Snyder, yes.
I think they when I say easily, I mean these guys have 4 or 5 years of high world champion caliber wrestling in front of them. Based on
well, it takes 6 to go through 2028.
Yeah, that's a long time.
And that's a long time.
It is a long time.
That is. And they've been at it a while.
Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting debate. We'll see. Keith Gothard said Dake's winning the next 4. Bet. I don't know, man.
I'm having fun looking at these old worlds data.
I know.
But there are not a lot of people that win medals. It's like United States, Soviet Union, and then you'll have some random like Japan, Canada, East Germany's in there a little bit. That type of stuff. I don't think the depth was as deep as it is now.
Yeah, for sure it's not. For sure. We're doing the show where we do the show, but Ben's doing a research project, and then we talk for a little bit, and then he just comes with a fact about.
I was into the. Oh my gosh! You know who I just found? Volgar Aruzhev at 48 kilograms, 105 pounds. That's a 105 pound guy right there. And he beat 2 Kims, one from South Korea and one from North Korea.
Wow.
Remember when North Korea used to have wrestling, and then that North Korean and then the Iranian became friends? Do you remember that?
That fake story about Kim
and
Rahimi being best friends?
Yes.
That made no sense. That was the most hilarious thing ever.
Oh my God.
It's like, bro, they don't speak the same language. How could they be friends? I don't know. Wrestling is truly a brotherhood. That was fine. That guy was so good, Yang. And then he's, unfortunately, he's North Korean, so you just kind of don't ever really know what happens to these people. But he was really good.
Greece winning a few medals here and there.
Greece is the word.
Oh, man.
All right. We better shape up. All right, let's
let's go to questions and get off this GOAT talk.
Yeah, hop off the GOAT.
We could run circles and hypotheticals forever.
But I don't mind it.
Shane played himself though. Can we just pick on Shane for a minute because he just picked Kyle Dake over Cale Sanderson?
Yeah. You can argue it. I can't argue.
You can't.
No,
you lost to Kevin LaValle.
Incontestable.
You lost to Ian Paddock. Like Cale didn't lose to nobody.
No. He didn't lose to Ian Paddock. He lost to Donnie Vinson. He did lose to Ian Paddock in high school. His losses are Bailey, Humphrey, LaValle, and Donnie Vinson. Those are the
Donnie Vinson. We don't get to argue that.
Here's my biggest points. I said I can argue it and I can. Okay.
I don't think so, Shane.
I don't have the analytics in front of me. I wish I did.
I have the Manalics.
Number of true freshmen that are all Americans. It's not a ton.
Okay.
Dake won it as a true freshman.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge, Ben. Ben, I've heard you so many more than anybody else. I sucked when I've heard this from you a million times.
Absolutely.
I got so much better during my redshirt season. Dake won it. Look who he wins it at 4 weight classes. And I'd have to do the analytics on this, but I'm just setting the table on this. You look at those 4 weight classes he won it at. You talk about the all-time greats. That is,
only one weight class, only 165 and David Taylor. That's it.
For sure.
So Dake wins it as a true freshman. Those 4 weights he won it at, the guys he beat. You don't think I can make an argument for Dake being the greatest?
I don't. I really don't. Kale didn't lose a match.
No chance.
And he won it as a true freshman. That's huge.
Matter. You have 4 years to compete.
Other people have won it as a true freshman. Nobody has gone undefeated for 4 years.
Yeah. And also, another thing about that is like, I give you the true freshman, and I would even almost.
That to me is huge.
Hold on.
Huge.
Hold on. I would even overlook the fact, okay, he won it as a true freshman. He did take some losses that year. If he had run the table and been an absolute dominator the next 3 years, which I think maybe you could make the case. But the sophomore year, losing 2 matches, the fact that he's not even in the same strata of dominance as Kale. Dominance matters, and he was dominant, but compared to Kale, it's not close. This guy won 3 Hodges. This guy, I mean,
I'm giving myself another thing, guys. This is just me. I favor those middleweight classes. I just do. I think if you are.
I am now realizing. I'm just now realizing you're a sizist. I had no idea. You know, you didn't like the heavyweights. You're citing bell curves, and now.
Here's why this is, guys. I'm going to give credit to a guy right now. I'm at the Wisconsin State Tournament, and I'm getting into an all-out debate with some guys from the Freedom Irish Wrestling Team. And I'm ready to go to blows defending Gable Steveson because their debate was Gable Steveson or Yanni. And they were telling me how much better Yanni is as a wrestler. And by the time the conversation was over, I went from wanting to go to blows, fighting over a heavyweight, to where I was like, I kind of saw their point. I was like, okay. And it was a lot of the amount of people, the bell curve. That's what they sold me on. Like, look at how many people are at Yanni's weight. There's a ton of them compared to heavyweight. And they're right. Kyle Dake, I will argue it. I will argue Kyle. I mean, you can't. It's another one of those where you give me Kale or Dake, I'll take either one of them. But to say that there's no chance of Dake being the greatest college wrestler, no, you can make the debate.
You didn't convince me at all.
You can't. Sorry.
So you guys put very little into the true freshman winning a national title. You must not put much into it. I put a ton into it. A ton.
You got 4 years to compete, and you choose those 4 years. I mean, does it add a little bit? Yeah, but he had 4 losses. That's the biggest thing.
I'm giving you scenarios where I would pick Dake. If Dake had won it as a true freshman and been undefeated throughout his career and been less dominant than Kale.
Then it's not even close. Then it's not even close. If you're Kyle Dake and you win 4 national titles and go undefeated, it's not close.
Yeah, but he didn't do that, and he lost.
He lost 4 times. 4.
Yeah, that's actually a lot when you're talking about like the very best.
Yanni's going to have 1 loss.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, why is Yanni not above Dake? 1 loss.
Yeah, put him.
Won it as a true freshman.
Won it as a true freshman, exactly. He's there.
He's better than Kale?
I think no. I mean, he's in that.
Why not?
I'm not arguing it. He might. I have to think about who's Yanni, because the other thing I always look at with Dake, he beat the guys he beat to win national titles.
Shane, none of those guys were. You claim they were legends, but none of those guys were really legends. I mean, he never beat any multiple timers besides David.
He beat David.
I mean, and obviously the other obvious about this one, and we've had this discussion before, is as you move out of weight classes, it allows the people that you beat to then win titles. If you stay in the same weight class, number one, you can't beat people
that's
in
valid.
weight classes, but then they can't win titles. So they don't have any titles, right? Whereas Molinaro won the next year. Well, if Dake's at 49, he's probably not going to win, right? Derek St. John won the next year. But if Dake stays at 57, he doesn't win. So these guys are only NCAA champions because he actually moved on.
And you get those notches in your belt
after they
4 weight class across 4 weight classes.
That's valid.
149 for 4 years. It's like here's your guys. I guess Yanni has been there.
Shane, I think you have to pick Yanni over Cale Sanderson at this point. because his based on I'm not even being like I'm not doing a bit.
No,
the guy hold on, this guy
this is show business.
As a true
baby.
freshman, this man Yanni Diakomahalis beat a 2-time national champion in the quarterfinals.
Well, that is true.
2-time champ. Yanni better than Kale.
Sign me up, president of the Yanni fan club. I'll take it.
There it is. Who else can we get in front of Kale in Shane's perspective?
I think Kale Sanderson. I mean, he's unbelievable. I mean, he's right there. I'm putting guys. Here's the deal. I'm
right
clearly
there.
putting it in of stock.
Kale, you're knocking at the door, brother. Knocking at the
Winning
door.
it as a true freshman to me is so big.
Kale, you're right there. I hope Kale listens to this and he says something because he punked Christian in an interview. I hope he says something to you, Shane, like, man, I know I'm right there. Just knocking
at the door. Kale, you're right there.
Oh, man.
You're right
I mean,
there.
he won the Hodge as a freshman. He won the Hodge as a freshman.
Not a freshman.
He didn't?
No, he didn't. Sophomore, junior, senior.
I thought he won his freshman and then one of the years in between.
3.
I knew he won 3.
No, he won the
He should have won as a freshman. I'm retroactively.
And he only
actually
won 2.5 because freaking Win Magazine gave half of that one trophy to Nick
They
Askren.
gave 2 trophies, so does he get? He gets
Come on, Ben.
credit for
2.5.
Come on,
Cut
Ben.
Guys, go to Kale's house. They cut the trophy in half.
This is a chail bit. Now.
Guys, it is not a bit. Kale has 2 full Hodge trophies and then 1 half Hodge trophy. What do you think Stevenson and Spencer got?
I saw the pictures. They both had the entire Hodge.
No, that was before they cut it. Then they gave it to him with the picture, and then they cut it.
Given a Hodge to Nick Ackerman and not Anthony Robles is the biggest.
They really don't have a leg to stand on in that one.
Oh gosh, that was Shane's famous line. Unbeknownst.
Yeah, that one went right over. Guys, I got to throw this in here real quick.
All right.
So Yanni's got the 1 loss to Ironman, and if I remember that match right, he should have won it, right? I mean, didn't he do something late and he lost? Talking about hypotheticals here, guys. If Yanni was undefeated right now and he runs the table, who do you have, him or Kale?
Probably Kale based on level of dominance because
dominance matters.
So dominant.
Why does that? Why? I just don't understand why it doesn't. I mean, that's like. If you're trying to find something that separates someone, that is the ultimate separator. Like, not just do you win, but how bad did you beat your guys? And to me, I think it refutes a lot of the, the weight class stuff. When, okay, you can say that maybe the middleweights are deeper, but when you are separating like that, that's your opportunity to like make up that gap.
Yes.
And that they're maybe better. And the fact that he did it so consistently, his bonus numbers are just stupid. You just got to go back.
Yes.
You just have to go back. And if you look at those numbers, you can't reach any other conclusion. This is the best guy to ever do it.
Yeah.
To not have any off match. Never one off match. Never a time where he never got caught. He never had a bad weight cut and lost.
He only had a couple. He only even really ever had a couple close ones. I think he had a 6-5 over Vertus Jones.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a lot of close ones at all.
Yes.
No. I'll throw this in there too, guys. Tell me if I'm being a homer here. You guys probably hammer me on this, and that's fine. You know what else I think matters? What conference you're in.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous.
No, stop.
Are you serious? You guys are going to tell me, guys, you're going to tell me that wrestling outside the Big Ten does not give you a substantial advantage in dominance? Come on, guys.
No. Shane, well,
I will say,
first of all, Kale Sanderson in the Big 12 and Kyle Dix in the EIWA. So neither one are in the Big 10. Number 2, obviously.
Downey's not in the Big 10 either.
Correct. But historically, the Big 12 was really good back in the day, and the Big 10 is getting better and better, but no.
You're telling me, guys, that you don't think you don't think there's anything to the fact that these greatest wrestlers we're talking about didn't wrestle in the Big 10 because of records?
No, I will say if everything is like even, like level of dominance, number of losses, all that thing, and it's like, but this guy wrestled higher level of competition more frequently, then yes, but that is so low.
Also, wasn't Kale wrestling like Oklahoma? I guess Oklahoma State didn't win when he was.
They were
the Big 12. The Big 12 was good.
Big 12 was ridiculous back then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was extremely tough, and all the Big Ten goes to NCAAs.
But if you
I
wrestle
understand
Big
that,
Ten,
but you got when you talk about dominance numbers, I'm saying you got a hand. You probably get another 10 matches in the Big Ten. It makes a difference. That
would hold up if he didn't just go and party on every NCAA bracket he ever entered.
He partied on all of them.
He partied on all of them. If he dominated all regular season, like some certain teams, they schedule light schedules to get good seeds in NCAAs. That happens, and then they go to NCAAs and they have down performance. You can say, that's what that is. But if you're destroying everyone, and then you go to the tournament that has everyone, and you continue to destroy everyone, that shows you would have done that.
Yeah, and he went to. I mean, obviously he went to Midlands. I was
national duels
at that point was the toughest national duels, which at that point was really good.
Wrestled Iowa every year.
I think it's interesting that we're talking about the best guys and none of them are from the Big Ten.
That's interesting. But I think, because there's only a few guys that can really make that discussion interesting. But I think the discrepancy between the Big Ten and other conferences have gotten much larger because the national duels were a thing where all the best teams went to for a very long period of time. I mean, we're talking 15, 20 years. So you were seeing everybody that was good there. And then you had the Midlands before the scuffle, right? So you were seeing all the best teams there again. So it was like there was a lot more mixing of conference teams. And now I actually think that, a little bit of it is the Big Ten kind of stays to themselves certain times because they know that they're going to get those really high seeds if they just stay, in conference. But they lose a couple out of conference and it negatively impacts them. Too many out of conference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish we could find our stats in wrestling are so terrible. Wish we could just find every match he wrestled. Oh, wait, maybe I've got him. I've got a lot here.
Oh, hey, yeah, you know what? Someone with a terrible screen handle on Twitter also, it would hard ever be for me to, and I don't know why I didn't think about this or say it, but to consider David Taylor over Kyle Dake, considering their head-to-head record, that's a hard one too. Because it's like 9-0.
Yeah, I don't think you can make that case. Although he had a fantastic career, and also he has a bubble loss. I
was just talking. I was talking over the entirety of everything.
Right. Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of stuff in here. I found a bunch of Kale. I found this Kale article. It has a bunch of.
What I love about this kind of show is I'll think about this afternoon and probably change my mind on 3 or 4 of these topics. I'll really think. When I get put on the spot a little bit, I just kind of throw stuff. But yeah.
Who would be the greatest wrestler ever from the Big Ten? Stieber?
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm going to throw this out there right now, and you guys can hammer me because it's good. Today could be an interesting game.
He's going to say Gable.
We did a thing on the Big Ten where I picked since 2000 the showcase matchups, and I went. It's coming out today. I went Stieber sophomore year, RBY senior year, so 2022 RBY. And was it 2014 Steve or whatever his sophomore year was?
Wait, you got to pick people from like hypothetical matchups? We're talking about real matchups.
Hypotheticals.
Oh, yeah, he thinks Roman beats Stieber, and so does Ben.
And I took Roman in his 4th year over Stieber as a sophomore. Ben, you and I agree on this.
Christian was so mad.
That was just so insane.
Today on Big Ten Social, that's what I do, and it's going to be an interesting one because people they don't listen to the whole argument. It's Stieber's sophomore year versus RBY as a senior. I'm taking RBY.
Okay, so you know what that does the Stieber. If you're thinking about the best Big Ten wrestler ever, it does kind of make it interesting. Like, do you value Stieber's 4 titles the most? Because if you do, then you kind of are obligated to pick him. Whereas there's probably some people who have a few less losses and 3 titles. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure, I wouldn't know.
Like, honestly, like a Zane, right? What Zane has 2 or 3 career losses, and 2 of them are to Logan, but he's a true freshman.
Yep. Which to you guys doesn't matter. To me, true freshman matters to me, not to you guys.
All right, Christian he's done. All right, let's just end the show, Christian. You're taxed. You are taxed. I can see it.
No, I'm
like, I don't want to start another topic.
The Logan hate is out of control.
It's not insane. Hate. Logan Stieber's a legend.
Totally forgetting the level of dominance this guy.
It was high.
Brought.
Not as high as Zayn.
And
Not
the
as high
fact
as
that
Zayn.
he would, yeah, true. True. Yeah, you could make an argument. Listen, when we're talking about Zayn versus Logan, that's a discussion to me. But Roman, I'm just not going there.
That was a one match.
Logan.
Beating. I'm not talking career.
David Taylor
I'm not
was more
talking
dominant
career.
than Kyle Dake, but who won?
Logan won
got
4.
him.
Logan won 4. You didn't get me. He won 4 titles.
Gotcha.
He
I'm
did
going
it.
1
Kyle
year,
Dake
guys.
won 4, and David Taylor won 2.
I know that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's not always like
Yeah.
if someone is more
Yeah,
dominant,
wrestling
doesn't
math
necessarily
doesn't work
mean they're going to
perfect.
win.
Yes. Wrestling math does not work perfect.
Yeah, I'm aware. I mean,
Matchups
I don't know if you are.
He
We're not
beat
sure that
Jordan
you are.
Oliver. He beat Tony Ramos. He beat a lot of really, really good guys.
Yes. I agree.
Roman Bravo Young was. I mean, was anybody touching him last year?
Yeah,
I'll say
man.
Dayton touched him.
Couldn't finish a single leg though.
I don't know. I mean, he's not blowing guys out.
No, but
Neither did
but it's
Kyle
never one
Dake.
of those things where you think he's in danger. You ever watch Roman Bravo Young last year and think, like, the DeSanto match?
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm with
that
you.
match wasn't beating RBY.
I'm with you on that one.
Again, I'm taking if I'm taking RBY as a sophomore and Stieber as a sophomore, I'm taking Stieber. But
Wow, it's big of you.
yeah, come on. That's why I can't believe I get pushback on this. RBY is in his 4th year, Stieber's in his 2nd. Yeah. I mean, that's not a slight to Stieber in any way.
Well, you haven't even watched Roman wrestle his senior season.
No, he didn't 4. He is 4.
He's got 4 in, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Shane's right on this one.
I'm all
He does, 'cause one of them
mixed up
didn't
with the
count.
years.
Yeah, 2020 didn't. That's the year that he lost. I think that's his last loss was to Gross at Wisconsin, I think.
He wins one more. He'll be 3-timer with potential. He could have been a 4.
Yes.
Yes.
Not really.
But I see that.
I mean,
that's
sure.
weird because
Yeah, yeah.
abilities.
Because I mean, and he got Sebastian Rivera.
Yeah.
Put it on.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering.
But RBY started also as a
he
true
wrestled
freshman,
as
right?
a true freshman, and it was what, either 7th or 8th, right?
He was 8th.
8th, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Christian, it's great to see you came over on this one.
What
I
did
gotta pee
say?
so bad.
You are a baby.
Are we
It's
gonna keep this party
9:30.
going?
We're keeping
Should I
it
go pee
going.
and come back, or should I?
I think you
hold
should
it
get
for
tough.
2 more minutes?
I told your story at
I'm
ADCC
gonna
last
pee.
weekend.
I'm
I
going
told
to
your
pee.
story
Nope,
about
going
Wayne
to
Buffett.
pee.
Look at this coward. I wish we could hang up on him. The man.
I mean, we literally can.
We literally could.
Oh, man.
I would, but I don't want to. I want to be able to berate him at the end. Look at this guy. Literally.
We can do Super Question
man.
Mega Show tomorrow because we have like so many to get to.
We're gonna dock his pay. This however long this P is, he's getting docked.
Amazon
It's
style.
9:29. Yeah,
Is that what
he
they do
left
at
early.
Amazon?
Yeah, they're like notorious for like,
No.
yeah, like being very strict about like even bathroom breaks with their employees.
Dang.
Who's that?
Amazon.
Really?
Sounds like a fun place to work.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure there's literally stories of like delivery people like literally just being like, no, I just pee in bottles. So I don't waste time.
I mean, that's efficiency.
Shane, with Ben gone, this is the perfect time to ask you. Somebody asked a question, your thoughts on the shift and the shift ban.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous, pathetic, unbelievable. Major League Baseball. I mean, what's next? On 0-2, you can't throw a curveball. It's got to be a fastball. It sucks. What they've done with baseball the last couple of years.
I leave for 1 minute. You gotta talk about baseball.
That's right. That's what you get. Go pee again.
You guys need me.
Shane, can I ask you
need
this?
me. You
How
tried
is
to
it?
talk about LeBron earlier.
How is it any different than calling stalling in wrestling?
Yeah, blocking off, just playing defense. No good.
What do you? I mean, but that's part of strategy. Everything's
So is
strategy.
defensive wrestling. So is defensive wrestling. But
That's
because
fine. Guys, I've always said this about wrestling, okay? I think that in every other sport, you earn the right to dictate tempo. Call it stalling. I take risks early and I'm beating you. And I can play the game a little bit. If I got to stall a little bit, I'm not saying it's awesome for the fans, but I get it. Like, take chances then.
I don't hate this take.
What did you think when they allowed the forward pass in football? What did you think then? Was that bad?
We mentioned wrestling.
Was that bad?
No, the shift thing is ridiculous. I mean, I don't like it either, too, where when you come out of the bullpen, you got to face 3 guys, and now they got the pitch clock. I mean, it's just like, what's next? What's next?
I like the pitch clock.
What's next? A shot clock in basketball?
Yeah. Throw the ball.
I'm okay with that. Christian, I'm reasonable. The pitch clock I can deal with. Like, okay, that I get. But let me say this, too, real quick. Aaron Judge, when he hits 62, he is the new single-season home run king also. Let's just call that the way it is, too.
You're certain.
Why? You guys love people using steroids. You're cool
certain?
with Russia using them. Why can't we cool Barry?
I'm not cool with the Russians using them. It's horrible. I think it just sucks. I mean, it just.
There were guys who never tested positive.
And you're certain that Aaron Judge has never done steroids? You're certain?
Here's what I know.
I'm not.
Here's what I know. He's never. I'm also one of these guys that now I'm going to
what
talk
a pull.
Baseball.
What a pull.
Look at baseball Ben here in this tweet.
In 2013.
Well, what'd you find? Hold on. Where? Show me.
Look at the
Can I see it
screen.
again?
Tyler,
I'm on the screen. I can't see it.
It's on the display right there. Your
Ben
tweet.
No one's
Askren,
showing
at
me anything
Brewers
right
win
now.
their 7th straight, hottest team in baseball.
Oh my goodness, that's wild. How did someone find that? Did they do like Ben Askren
Advanced
or
search.
something?
The word
That's
baseball
hilarious.
from user at Ben Askren.
Yeah. So don't
Brewers
act like you're
blew
too
a big
good
one
for it.
last night to the Mets. Brewers were up 7-0 last night, and I'm not a Brewer fan, but I'm a Brave fan, so I'm against the Mets. So I'm hoping the Brewers can help out. They're up 4-0 to give up a grand slam to Lindor in the 8th, maybe, and they lose 7-4, I think. Braves win again. I think they've won 5 straight. The AL East race right now in baseball is where it's at. Braves and Mets.
Hell, I'm just leaving. All right, guys, you keep talking baseball. I'm out of here.
Yeah, I can't pertain to the actual baseball talk.
Fine. Ben's too good for this. He pees.
Uppity Ben.
So should Stalling be Shane Sparks' official take is Stalling should be allowed.
Yeah, it's just tactics. Who cares? Forget the fans. Who cares what the fans think?
I didn't say I liked it, guys. I didn't say I liked it. I'm a big believer. I just think that you should be able to dictate tempo, and that's the way it goes. Take risks.
Say this. And I'll tie it
to a degree.
I'm going to tie it all back to wrestling. And sports that think about the fans and put the fans first succeed. And the ones that get bogged down with
look at football. They don't care about player safety at all. It's all about the fans.
Well, yeah, no, not necessarily. They've made it way. Actually, that's not true. Well, you can get into some other things that they do, but they have changed the rules to make it way
they have
safer, way more offensively friendly. Baseball's just trying to do that, and the big problem in our sport, wrestling, is that we make decisions based on the recommendations of coaches and the wrestlers, and we're not considering the fans. And I just spent a weekend at the ADCC World Championships where you can tell all they care about is the fan experience. They want a great experience for the athletes, and they have that, but they think about the fans. They prioritize that, and that's an advantage for that sport. It's an advantage for football. It's going to be an advantage for baseball, and is a disadvantage for wrestling, and it holds us back when we think about tradition and we don't think about the fan experience at all.
But guys, let me throw this in there too. The best guys don't stall, right? I mean, is that fair? The best guys get after it.
I don't know. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I think some people do. They do tactics to win the match.
But I think sometimes though that's what it takes.
Maybe.
But I get what you're saying, Chris. I would not disagree with what you're saying. That event this last weekend on Flow was freaking crazy. I mean, that was.
You watch grappling?
That I watched some of it. It's exciting. I don't know what I'm watching, quite honestly, but it's exciting. Like, it is exciting. I mean, the fans love it. Here, guys, let me just say this about
also
Stone.
Allow everyone to juice to the gills, then, please.
The one thing about Chris, everything you said, you made some really good points. The one thing about stalling, I guess I would say this. Maybe here's the better thing I should say about stalling. I never want to hear somebody that loses say that the other person stalled.
Why not?
because that's just a lame excuse. Oh, he stalled. Score
Listen,
more points.
When we shake hands, we agreed to wrestle. So wrestle.
Yeah,
You know?
don't stall.
Don't stall.
Like I said, if you lose the match, I just don't want to hear you whining because the other guy stalled. Like, figure it out.
We don't like whining, so that's
no
fair
excuses.
enough. But if I'm a fan, can I say it? Or a pundit, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, can.
Get mad at the referee, in my opinion, not the dude. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
This is a classic don't hate the player, hate the game. And the game should adjust so that it requires action and entertainment. That's what the game should require. Just like what baseball's doing, like football's done. So, yeah.
You gotta let defenses shift, Christian. So you're all for the shift? You like it? Or you like banning the shifts?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Oh, man.
More hits. Throw the ball.
In my hypothetical world, players have to take steroids.
Yeah. This guy. All right.
You literally can't play MLB baseball.
We gotta be done.
This might be the last show Ben ever does. We may never see it again.
This is so bad. Okay, Shane, what do you think about this one? Did you see the Sarah Hildebrandt match?
I did. I watched highlights of it on Flow.
Here's the rule change I want to make. I think you should be allowed to choke people out going that way, and if you can choke them out, you get to pin them. What do you think?
Oh man, yeah, that was, yeah.
I was actually thinking about this a lot. I was driving. I did the audiobook, so I was driving to and from Madison yesterday. And I was thinking about it. If you allowed in freestyle wrestling, you already allow headlocks with a head and an arm. You cannot attack the head and neck by itself, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a head and an arm. If you allowed any type of chokes with a head and an arm, and then you could pin them afterwards, that would be sweet.
I think I think that would really slow things down though, because nobody ever gets that position.
No, they could. I mean, there'd still be stalemates, right? So, like, for example, if you jumped guillotine, obviously you'd be giving up points, number one, so you probably wouldn't do that. But number two, if they pop the head out, then you're back, or if you don't get it, they're gonna call a stalemate. Like, it's actually kind of hard, like in a back take type situation, you're choking them without their arm in there, you're just attacking the neck. And in most guillotines, you're probably just attacking the neck. It does take some skill to choke someone out with their arm and their head.
Yeah.
What do you think, Christian? You in or not?
I don't know. I kind of don't think so. I don't think
Boo.
Also,
if you want to choke someone out, there's sports for that. It's not wrestling. That can exist. Just go do jiu-jitsu.
But in wrestling, you do kind of choke people a lot of it to get what you want.
How many times have you been choked out, Ben, in wrestling?
Never. I wouldn't listen to that.
Okay.
I'm a man.
How many times have you choked somebody out?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're totally biased.
And the threat of being choked or the feeling of being choked does enable me to do a lot of things because people don't like that feeling.
And I've said this probably on this show before, and I'll say it again. This is what I will always remember. There's two people that have put their hands on me that it just blew me away, the strength. Two people where I was just blown away by it. And it's not like I don't have a large sample size. Ben grabbed me once, and I couldn't believe how strong you were. I was shocked. I was definitely shocked.
I was underwhelmed, personally.
And the other guy that grabbed me once, Nick Simmons put his hands on me once too. And I couldn't I slipped. He just came up to me and literally grabbed me, slipped a rib.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Shane.
Yeah.
That's kind of an indictment, bro.
Yeah.
He's a 25-pounder.
I'm just telling you, Nick Simmons, man. Nick Simmons has some strength. I was surprised. But Ben too, I can't. And Ben, you barely touched me. And I was like, so I can imagine if you went full throttle on somebody, they wouldn't last long.
So yeah, I mean, listen, I try to choke people in for headlocks and other positions. I know like in the situation I'm trying, it's probably highly unlikely that they're going to go out in any way, shape, or form. But the one for headlock on Sarah Hildebrandt, they have to go out for them to go over. Otherwise, they're not going over. So that's like the whole reason they go that way. So either completely outlaw that move or let them choke them out. That's what we got to do.
Jake Rankin said, my brother used to choke people out in a Merkle. Yeah, you can definitely choke pretty well in a Merkle. That's a good one.
Good point.
Yeah.
Primary choking position. So Keith Gothard, he's been in here. He wants to have an MMA show on Flow. Okay? And there's a lot of chatter in here about the chat. Here's what I say. Anybody can do a show. Everyone's got a podcast these days. Start a show. Do a podcast. If it's good.
That's what I did.
Maybe we'll pick it up. That's what Ben did. Nothing's stopping you. You can get a mic for $50.
So easy.
Go ahead.
Entries, almost nothing.
Yeah. You can do it. Start your own show. And if it's good, we'll pick it up.
Yes.
Back to chokes. It was also brought to my attention the referee did not give Sarah a point.
I like you going with that one, but yeah, it's not true.
Yeah.
So I do owe that referee an apology. So
a formal one?
There you go.
I would like to formally send my condolences to said referee.
So also another thing that was pointed out to me, the ref that called this or the Sarah choke was the same one for the Yanni one.
Oh, so she was probably
that's why
she was freaked out. She saw Sarah flopping around. She's like, "Oh, I don't want that again."
I think that's what happened. I think that's probably what happened. So she was a little spooked after the first one, and probably got talking to. Listen, you can't let people get choked out. Okay, I won't. And then chest strap happens, and that's all it takes. So anyway, all right. With that, we made it to 9:42. Thanks so much
Barely.
to Shane.
I almost left a couple times.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Listen to this groove. More funk.
You know what I
music.
like? One thing I like about this show too is, and I got this from Colin Coward once, who I think is the best sports talk show host. It's okay to change your mind. So there was a lot of stuff in this show that my guess is I'm going to think about this, let it process a little bit, and probably change my mind on a couple of things. And I like that.
I can change, and you can change. We all can change.
84. All right, not 84, Rocky 4.
Amen.
Wow, one of the best speeches ever, right?
We all can change. And let's leave with that. Beautiful. Beautiful words, some beautiful music. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Shane. Thanks, JD. Thanks you for listening. Check you later. See you then. Bye.
Some kind of party. We're gonna do it till we can't take no more. Gotta do it till we get funky. Gotta do it till we get back down. Gotta do it till we get funky. Gotta do it all night till we get back down.
All right, then. You guys have a good one. All right, take care, guys.
Till we get funky. We gotta do it all night. Till we get funky, yeah. We're gonna party. Gotta get down, gotta get back down. Some kind of party. We're gonna